All right, so I was in the market for a small premium handheld. I was willing to spend $100 or so. I just wanted something that I could pick up and use, throw it in my pocket, and not even have to worry about a carrying case or anything like that, right? So good quality materials. And so I started looking around at different shops, places that I've shopped at before, and I've, varied experiences, but mostly positive at a lot of these popular retailers that sell gaming handhelds. But I came across LitNXT. So after shopping around, doing my research, I settled on a GPD Pixel 2. So that's on the way from LitNXT. I bought that one. And then I reached out to them. I said, hey, just FYI, I bought a product from you guys. You seem like a good site. Tell me more about what you guys are doing. And we went a little back and forth, and they were kind enough to actually send over the TrimUI Brick. And the thing that surprised me is it comes pre-installed with an operating system called CrossMix. Now, I'm not, an enthusiast with handhelds. I'm more of a hobbyist, so I like to consume them and use them. I'm not really into tweaking them. I've done a little bit of that in the past, but I'm not super good at it. So for me, not even thinking about changing the operating system, to my surprise, I'm actually really happy with it. So in this video, I'm gonna do a couple of things. I'm gonna give you a tour of the that'll be a future video, of the TrimUI Brick, right? You'll get a tour of this device. We'll talk about CrossMix. I'll show you what it looks like and why I like it. And then I wanna show you the LitNXT website too, because I thought it was really cool that even though I bought stuff from them, they were kind enough to send me something too, so that I could then share my thoughts with all of you. Okay, when you buy from LitNXT, just pay attention to the store page, but pretty likely you're going to get an included case. The case is good, right? Feels good, looks good. Black and red is a solid retro color theme, and their logo is DMG-ish, and I'm a fan of anything DMG. So they included a sticker. I took the sticker, slapped it on my AirPods, and now I'll never confuse my kids' AirPods for my own. Okay, the hardware on the TrimUI Brick. This thing does feel premium. It's not made out of aluminum, right? It kind of looks like it is because these plastics are really solid. All the buttons feel good except for these rear buttons, and they feel good to click, right? Short travel, but they're wiggly. So if you don't want any wiggles at all, you might be able to put some padding in here and then just not use the buttons, but you're gonna want to use at least R1 and L1, I think. All right, there's a USB-C port here as well as one on the bottom. And then in addition, you have a micro SD card slot, a reset button, and a headphone jack. On the sides, we have our on-off button, and then this toggle switch is like a function switch. You can program to do different things. On the other side, just volume. So overall, it looks really good. You got your face buttons as well. Listen to these. Everything is so clicky and just feels, like I said, premium. Very cool. The screen is awesome. I think it's 3.5 inches. I need to pull up my spec sheet here. I wasn't planning on talking about the screen in too much detail. It's 3.2 inches. What I did want to talk about though is CrossMix. I didn't know that I needed this operating system. Recently, I picked up another handheld that was Android based, and I was surprised to see that the emulators that were pre-installed actually couldn't open all the ROMs that I had. Some of the ROMs were .zip, some were whatever extension they needed to be, and just from emulator to emulator, experience is a little bit different. What CrossMix is not just an easy to use operating system, but they also have a curated list of emulators that are meant to work with the consoles that are listed. So that I didn't have to do that work myself, which is much appreciated. You can see there's SNES in here, Atari if I didn't show that already. There's Neo Geo, Genesis, there's even some DOS games, PSP, and there's a lot pre-installed in here, which is pretty helpful. And you can just fire these up and off you go. Everything has save states, you can load those save states. And then beyond that, for me, I don't need anything else. But I know that a lot of handheld enthusiasts, they like to get into different display options. For me, it's not really a thing. In fact, I don't really finish games that I play on these handhelds. I tend to just, if I'm going somewhere where I don't have to be on top of my kids, or I don't have to pay attention to the thing I'm going to do, it's kind of a rare situation. I can throw something like this in my pocket and sit down and game for 20 minutes. And for me, it's mostly about just reliving some of my past, reliving that youth. So I'll fire up Castlevania, or I'll fire up Metroid or Zelda, and I'll play for a few minutes, save my state, and then maybe one day I pick it back up. And I don't know if that's a lot of us handheld, retro handheld enthusiasts or hobbyists rather, but that's me at least. So I don't really need to go into the level of detail like someone who really wants like the best display experience. Like for me, one of the things I'm loving a lot right now is the mod Retro Chromatic because it has exclusive games and it's just like a made for system. Like everything, there's no extra buttons. Like it's made to play those old 8-bit Game Boy type games, or actually Game Boy games because you can pop in the carts. And those are the kind of games that I intend to sit down and finish. And they don't have save states, right? You might be able to save, but some games you can't. You have to just get the password for the next level and write it down somewhere, which is actually it's kind of nostalgic and cool. So anyway, CrossMix, I like that the box art is there, the console art's there, everything's organized for you. And if you need to get out of here, you can go into RetroArch. There's the scraper for you, and there's a bunch of other functions too. But I'm an easy person to please. I just want to play the games. Okay, so what I want to show you now is the LitNXT website because I've done a lot of website stuff in my time, in my career, and I think they have a really easy to use interface, user experience. So I want to show that to you. Let's take a look at that. The LitNXT store is pretty well laid out. So first of all, whatever bargain they have at the time is at the top of this page. So what you can see here is you get 15% off for spring. So just remember the code and you could type it in. Ideally you'd be able to click on that and it would go to your clipboard, but that's a nitpick. They have their big advertisements at the top, and then down here are some of the more popular best-selling handhelds. Now, I want to show you the TrimUI Brick. So this is how their configurator works. You can change your color, and that changes the color of the device in the image, which is very helpful. Next time, I might pick up white because I love this gray on white look with these blue lit up buttons, but the black one's cool too. And then you can change the configurations. You can get it with CrossMix with a smaller ROM, in which case the price comes down. Or you can just get the card itself, which is $40. Or you can get the handheld with the stock OS. And I've used the TrimUI Smart Pro, so I think their stock OS is totally great too. And it does have images and stuff like that on it, and I had no problem with emulators. But I do like the way CrossMix is organized. So yeah, that's their store. I'd say give them a shot. And if you want more information about this device and the website, I did also watch, and I would recommend Tech Dweeb's video. And yeah, I agree with him. It is premium on the cheap with this TrimUI. They're just banger after banger product from TrimUI. It's awesome. All right, folks. Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.